वो भी कर सकते हैं, फिर कहाँ वो सब, फिर कहाँ से पिक्चर लाऊंगी, तुम्हारे पास कोई गिफ्ट आया हुआ या तो मैं खरीद सकती हूँ।
Okay, namaste everybody. I hope you can hear me. If anybody wishes to say anything before we start, please do so. Any comment on what you have done so far? Any comment on anything you may have observed and so on? Please do so, or we may start with our session. Okay, I assume there is no one saying anything. So let's sit in Vajrasana, because like I've shared earlier, Vajrasana is a very good asana to do this breath work. It gives your belly enough space. Right? So you're sitting in Vajrasana and slow, deep breath in. I always say slow, deep breath in because when you take a slow breath, it's able to move to parts of the body which a fast breath may not allow. So when we are breathing fast, it's almost as if certain channels are closing up. But when we are breathing slow, numerous other channels which may not always be open start opening. So slow, deep breath in. And half. Stop. Half. And then when you've taken a full, when you've emptied your lungs, you can take a slow, deep breath in. If you're able to continue immediately, that's good. If not, you can wait a moment and then start again. Now, please remember one important thing when you are doing this. I may have neglected mentioning this earlier. As you are huffing, try to keep passing air, not passing air. Try to continue allowing your breath to move up along the spine from as low as possible. So if it's moving from the Mooladhara area up along the spine, that's great. So lower the place where the air, the out breath is coming, the better. So you continue huffing, but your breath should be coming up from the Mooladhara area up along the spine. Once again, take a slow deep breath in and observe the quality of your huff, the sound that you make when you do the huff. Please observe that. Stop. Again. Stop. So as you continue doing this, and as you start observing that maybe earlier there was no sound, but as you've done it twice, thrice, four times, there is a little sound. Now, if you try to observe, you'll probably get an idea of where the sound is coming from, which part of your lungs. You might get a sense it's coming from the lower right, lower left, maybe somewhere at the back, upper chest, wherever. So you get a sense. Now, if you get a sense that it's coming, the sound like a whistle or like a wheeze, if it's coming from a certain area, you can, when we add the squeeze, etc., you may concentrate a little more in that area so that you can squeeze whatever wishes to come out. Add a little squeeze, push, but make sure that the breath is coming from as low as possible. Okay, once again, slow, deep breath in. So the first couple of times we've not done any squeezing because we are allowing the body to come into that state where the squeezing may be added. Squeezing, and also if you remember the Krishna flute, we can also add that later. So slow, deep breath in. Stop again. Stop again. Stop again. Stop and again. And then a slow, deep breath in. Now, notice the little things that are changing in the body, in the breath, in the sound, and so on. When you are relatively free of phlegm, naturally you won't have to work too much or too long, and you may actually do fewer of these repetitions than you would otherwise need to do. If the body is still producing a fair amount of phlegm, or you've been facing challenges like shortness of breath or difficulty in breathing and so on, do a little more and keep building it up over a period of time, and then modulate as required, sometimes more, sometimes less. There is no fixed rule. It's not as if this is a textbook where this is what must be done in all circumstances, under all circumstances, nothing like that. As is needed, when it's needed, do that. And the lower your breath goes and the lower your breath comes up from, the better will be the overall results that you will get from all these breathing exercises. Once again, now this time when you do, you can start adding a little squeeze. Add the squeeze particularly where you felt the sound may have been coming from. Slow, deep breath in. Tongue out. Tongue out. And a slow, deep breath in. each time you do this, it's a very complex system that we have inside. The body is a very complex organism or organization, if you like it. And there are nooks and crannies and corners all over the place. Each one plays a special role in maintaining the health and so on. So while doing this, don't worry about how ugly you look. I'm sure nobody will look as ugly as I do when I do this, so don't worry about it. Just do it. Make sure that different parts of your anatomy are pushed, exercised, uh, in a way churned, so that anything that may be stuck there, lodged there, starts coming out. Once again, slow deep breath in. You can combine the tongue out with the squeeze. Slow deep breath in. So if you observed, if you heard me, this time you might have noticed there was a stronger sound, like a whistling kind of a sound. And it's a good thing, because wherever something is stuck, it's getting dislodged, it's trying to move out. It'll take its time, and that's perfectly all right. Slow deep breath in. I'm sorry. So if you notice, what I did this time was I added a sound. So when you do this, it's as if there is a certain grating that's going on. As you make the sound, a little more phlegm tends to come out. So try it and observe how your body responds. I'll wait. Try it a few times. And please remember, every time, between every huff, allow the belly to relax as much as it can. Deeper the relaxation, better. Yeah, all those things that were making a sound are now finding a way out. Yeah, anybody else, please share whatever you may have experienced now. You may do it on voice, or you may do it in a comment, whichever is convenient. I'll wait a few moments for your reactions. Your reactions are important because that gives me an understanding of what is working for more people than just me. Also, if you noticed, when I was doing it this time, I was moving my body. So I went this way, I went this way, I even went this way, move my head back, because I'm allowing whatever is there inside to find different channels out. Something may work in this way, something may work in that way. So I try different things like this. So if anybody felt a difference, noticed something, observed something, please share. Come on, don't hold back your thoughts. You must share. There has to be a lot of feedback, give and take, so that we know where we are. There we go. Okay, so looks like there is little to share at the moment. So, okay, one more time. You may do all that we have done earlier and add the Krishna's flute, which means you start squeezing at the Mooladhar, Swadhisthana, Manipura, and so on. Up, come up. So do that. Felt slight kind of itching on one side of lung. Itching. If it is not very uncomfortable, it's okay. But if it is uncomfortable, then maybe relax for a while. Itching can also be because there is something that needs to be expelled. Itching usually inside of the lungs is not something I have any experience with or of. But if that is your experience, be careful. Oh, Maheshji says it's not uncomfortable. It's okay. So then maybe there is something that feels something. You might have used the word itching. I don't know if it is itching or something similar, but see if the breath work, that itching reduces or if it increases. If it increases, please slow down. We don't want you to face any kind of difficulty in any way. So listen to your body. Okay. Saraswati Kondaji says cough comes in between. Cough means as a cough or phlegm. Saraswati ji. Look at that. But believe me, some of us, like somebody mentioned in one of the earlier meetings, some of us are like phlegm factories or mucus factories. I am, or I have been like a mucus factory. It keeps coming down and up and down. Today, and in fact, even yesterday, it was more. There is a bit of paint work going on in my apartment, so my body reacts to that. So my phlegm production has gone up again. So I'll have to wait a little longer to see how well it comes down. Only cough. Okay, so that means you're wanting to cough. Okay. Sometimes that sensation, desire to cough, is because something needs to come out. So don't hold back the cough. You can't anyway, but do your cough and continue with your breath work. Expel whatever comes out. One more time, let's go. Slow, deep breath in. Please add the Krishna's flute, which means the squeeze at the different chakra levels. Yeah. So the is causing a little extra phlegm to come out. Nagaraju ji says, phlegm content reduced for me today. Today it was clear. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Okay, once again, and do the Krishna's flute once again. Yeah. So if you notice, when I first did the huff, there was almost no sound. And then that little wheeze, that little whistle kind of a sound came. And then a lot of phlegm has actually come out. So this is how we are. This is how the body is. Naturally, I'm a little more comfortable or experienced with the technique. So I can add more pressure or more tightness in my squeezes than you. And that's perfectly all right. You need to go slow, build up the body's ability, capability, and willingness to do it. So then slowly add to the strength or the intensity of the squeeze and so on. I'm sorry. All right. So those who have been doing this technique for the last 4-5 days may continue a little longer, maybe do it another 4-5 times. Those who are new, please go slow. No need to push it too much. Like I said, we need to build the technique in slow steps, build our body's ability, willingness, capability, and so on. So those who have a little more experience can add a little extra pressure, can do it a few more times. I'm so sorry. Phlegm factory. So evidently the the KH sound, as you try to make that sound, a little more phlegm starts coming out. Please try, observe, and continue. So observation is obviously key in all kinds of breath work. The more you are able to observe, the more you are able to connect what happens when X happens, what happens when Y happens, the better results you'll get from your breath work. So please do that. I'm so sorry, but that's what we are here for. So maybe I shouldn't be so sorry. Right. Anybody wishes to share anything they have noticed so far? Please do. Feedback is important. I need feedback. Otherwise, it's only my own experience which I'm sharing. Feedback tells me about others' experiences, that makes me understand the system better. And the more I understand the system better, the more I can help others also try and benefit. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm waiting for some responses. Sir, it is suggested every day for whose constitution is not kapha. See, for now, practice regularly so that you become comfortable with how to do it. Your body understands what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and so on. So continue for some time. And also remember, it's a tennis court inside. The lungs are the size of a tennis court. Please remember, because you are still not doing very intensively, you are not adding enough pressure or strength, not too much is moving. As you begin to do that, as you begin to add a little more and a little more and a little more and more stuff might start coming out. Remember, tennis court, that's the surface area inside your lungs. So that's a huge amount of area, and it'll take some time. Shan Bhaniramji Jasraj, how is the squeeze applied? I'll explain that later. 1 second. Vijay Lakshmiji, though the Krishna flute, are we trying to expel the impurities from the chakras? We are trying to expel impurities, blockages, and of course, phlegm, etc., from all through the body. What are chakras? You know, chakras are like major junctions, like a traffic junction in a city. There is a traffic junction. So these 7 major chakras are like traffic junctions. From these 7 major traffic junctions, there are other smaller traffic junctions, again chakras. So according to yogic understanding, there are a total of 112 chakras inside the body. 7 are the major ones, and you know them. There are 2 that are said to be outside. So if you wonder why there are 2 outside, it's to give you an understanding that you are a part of a whole. You are not as much of an individual as you might imagine. Nor am I, nor is anyone. We are all part of a great whole. Just as all those 50 trillion cells inside you are a part of you. If I were to take out one cell from your body and say, ask that cell, hey, who are you? How do you think that cell would answer? If that cell were to say, I am a cell, I am cell number, or I'm cell with an X name or whatever, he'd be right. But if that cell were to say, I am Hershey, which is the name I see in front of my, in front here, or if the cell were to say, I am AJ, or the cell were to say, I am Alka Singh, whatever, right? We are like that. We are also a cell in a greater organism. So we may see ourselves as a cell, or we may see ourselves as a whole. That is up to us. So the 112 chakras are inside you. There are two outside, and when you cleanse each chakra, whatever is there starts coming out, but there is a continued flow from other areas, as there would be. Like in a traffic junction, you clear the traffic in one junction does not mean that the traffic has stopped. The traffic continues to come. It's just that the traffic doesn't get stuck there for very long, or when it does get stuck, it needs to be cleared. So that is what we are doing with the chakras. We wish to benefit not only in terms of cleansing the system, which is of course important, but the cleansing of the system creates conditions for energy to move better. When your breathing system, respiratory system, energy system is cleared, it helps remove the blockages, energy flows through you better, and it has benefits in numerous ways: physical, energy, of course, mental, and more. So, you get benefits at different levels of your experience as a living being. Today, after third time, my expelling phlegm, it's more easy to breathe after expelling phlegm. Yes, that's right. That is from AJ. That's wonderful. So the idea is to breathe better, because as we breathe better, energy moves better through us. When energy moves better through us, every aspect of our being, every aspect of our experience undergoes some change, and that makes life much more rewarding. So cleansing is a very important part. Uh, in yoga, we have a system, or we have a breath called the Nadi Shodhan. Nadi Shodhan, cleansing the Nadi. That is the purpose. And cleansing nadis is an integral part of yoga. So while you have yam, niyam, pratyahar, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, they're all there. But in each of these, there are certain subgroups or subheads, and cleansing is a part of the yogic kriyas. Very important, extremely important. Cleansing your nadis helps to open the sushumna. When sushumna opens, like I've said in our earlier meeting, your life is now ready to go on the expressway, on the freeway. So you'll get excellent results as far as the other aspects of your life are concerned. But if you look for results overnight, you may be disappointed. Nothing happens overnight. This is a slow process. We have 70, 80, 90 years of life. We need to take it easy. We need to take it a little slow. But what is important is the attention we give to the important things in life. We give a lot of attention to what a film star is doing, and we give a lot of attention to what an ad is saying. Do they really deserve that much attention? Do they really deserve that much attention? I don't think so. What is it that deserves attention? It's all inside you. It's all inside you that deserves attention. That is where you need to move your attention. And what is attention? Attention is a far more valuable resource than money. It's a resource. Attention is a resource. We use the term pay attention. Like we say pay money, we say pay attention. So when you give attention, when you give your attention to someone or something, you are actually doing a huge amount of spending. You are spending your energy. So how you spend your energy will obviously determine what kind of experiences you get, just as how you spend your money decides on what that money does for you. Sorry. So paying attention is very important. So as you continue to pay more attention to your breath, for example, and breath is the one thing that helps you live. Your life started with the first breath, and life will end with the last breath. So life is the period between the first breath and the last breath. That's it. Yet breath is the one thing we do not pay attention to. Okay. How will we come to know that Sushumna is open? Okay, that is from Nagaraju Jallaji. Yeah. So one thing is, when the Sushumna starts opening, it's as if both your nostrils are flowing at the same time. So if you find that your nostrils, both you're able to breathe almost in the same way through both the nostrils most of the time, then chances are your Sushumna is becoming more and more and more active. So that is one thing. There are many other smaller signs and symptoms, if you like, that you notice when the Sushumna opens, and continue on the path. See, do not be very focused on outcomes. Let the outcomes come. Let the milestones, the outcomes come. Let you observe them, and later you see, this is what happened at that point of time. When you are going through it, you may not have a very clear understanding of what is really happening, but later you will get a clearer insight. This is what may have happened, or this is probably what happened at that time, and that's enough. uh, this is how you build clarity into your practices and so on. Now let's go to the second part of our technique, which is the complete yogic breath with the stop go, stop go, stop go, and then towards the end we start applying the squeeze. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't explain that question somebody asked. How do we apply the squeeze? Right, that was from Bhaniram Jasrajji. Okay, so when we apply the squeeze, as you are breathing in, as you have allowed most of the breath, most of the out breath to leave you, there is almost as if a little space that can be compressed inside you. It's all your inner muscles. With that, you do the squeezing. Like, for example, I'm sorry, I'm going to give a very bad example. Sometimes when we are constipated, some of us may, when we are in the bathroom, we apply a certain pressure, like that. It's a kind of squeeze. So similarly, there are squeezes like this that you can apply in different parts of your body. And once you try it, it'll happen, and then you'll get a better understanding. But like I said, your squeezes can be localized or it can be general. So you can apply a full squeeze throughout the body sometimes focus it in different areas, lower right, upper right, back right, and so on, different areas. Try it, because depending on where the sound is, where the congestion may be, or where they may see 40, 50, 60 years of life without really doing any kind of overhaul. Your car needs to go for a service every few months at least. But what about this thing called the lungs? It's used 24 hours a day non-stop. 24 hours a day non-stop, zero servicing, zero care, zero overhaul. Naturally, there is a lot of whatever has collected here. And lung health is very closely tied with overall well-being. But unfortunately, there are not too many ways to improve our lung health except through pranayam, yoga, and so on. Of course, sports, etc., it all helps. Keeping your body relaxed, allowing your breath to go deeper, smoother, subtler. All these things play magic on your breath and your energy system. For the breath and the energy system, I don't know if I've used it here, but in some of my breath groups, I use the imagery of a lion. You know, Durga Ma comes riding on a lion. So your breath is a lion, and Durga Ma is energy riding that lion. So when this lion is able to move throughout your body, Durga Ma or energy is able to clear the demons. What are these demons? These demons are all the negativities that we may have collected, wrong thoughts, wrong ideas, wrong emotions, wrong conclusions, etc., etc. They're all demons. And as the breath moves through your system, Ma Durga energy starts cleaning these or cleansing these demons out of your system. So that's an imagery you can remember and use it to your benefit. So let's continue. Slow, deep breath in, belly very relaxed, tongue at the roof of your mouth. Those who know how to channel the breath up along the spine, as we have shared in the Hanuman master breath, some may have familiarized themselves with it. Some who are part of my breath groups, they are definitely much more familiar and able to do it. But anyway, those who can may do it. Those who cannot, observe how low your breath goes. Observing is key. You may hold it for a moment and then allow the exhale to happen from as low as possible. If it is channeled up the spine, great. When you feel the whole breath has gone, stop. Then continue. You'll find some more air comes out. When you feel it's gone, stop. Then continue. Stop. Continue. So as you do this, a little more phlegm starts coming out. And towards the end, you can apply that gentle squeeze. And now you have numerous squeezes and, of course, Krishna's flute. So apply them judiciously. Don't overdo anything, but do it. Slow, deep breath in, body very relaxed. And like in the huffing breath, after your breath comes out and you stop, relax your belly in particular. And then squeeze. And a slow, deep breath in. Focus always on your breath coming from as low as possible, the exhale. Yes. Once again, between every time you stop, relax your belly. Also, when you are breathing in, uh, remember the full breath, which means you allow the breath to fill up the lower portions, which means in the pelvic area, lower belly area, and then allow the breath to move up and fill up your central, your belly, upper belly, chest area, and then all the way up to the chest, all the shoulders. Let it all fill up, stop for a moment, and then allow the exhale from as low as possible. As you continue exhaling, let the flow come from that lowest portion. And then when you feel it's all gone, stop. When I do this, it means stop for that breath. And then when I do this, it means continue exhaling that same breath, no inhalation in between. So you exhale, stop, continue exhaling without breathing in, and so on. As you know, as some of you know how to apply the squeeze as you go to the last part of your breath, which means maybe another 2 or 3 squeezes at most. So then start applying the squeeze, and then do the Krishna's flute sometimes. But make sure that your breath is coming from the lowest portion. That is important. Squeeze in Krishna's flute will happen while exhaling. That's right, yes. Manisha Kothariji, yes. Squeeze will happen when you are exhaling. And every time you squeeze, and then when you stop, allow the belly to relax. Once again. Yeah. When you take the inhale, allow, sorry, 1 second. While stopping after the first exhale, breath is at the upper part of the body. I'm not very clear about this. While stopping after first exhale, breath is at the upper part of the body. See, breath is channeling all through. It's, in a sense, is moving down still, because there is an upper chest where breath is being released and it's coming down and moving up from the Mooladhara area up along the spine. So the flow of breath, sense it from the Mooladhara or as low as possible. From the lowest portion, try to sense it move up along the spine. I feel my last breath is coming out when I squeeze my Swadhisthana more than any other chakra. Yeah, so after you squeeze the Swadhisthana and then you wait for a moment, you can continue squeezing again. Believe me, the out breath can be very, very long. It can be much, much longer than you may have experienced so far. So don't think that, you feel at that moment, you feel that you have expelled all the air. It's not the end of it. There is still a lot more air that needs to come out. Now, what happens is each time you are expelling more and more stale air or uh, the fresh supply of air, you are giving every cell, almost every cell or every organ in your body, an opportunity to get a fresh flow of prana and, of course, oxygen and so on as well. So do this again. So the insights part of my breath journey started in real earnest when I started seeing that the out breath was almost limitless. I mean, it could just go on and on and on, especially with the complete yogic breath, which is what you're doing just now. As you take a full breath in and allow the exhale to happen slowly, it can just go on endlessly. It feels almost endlessly. And when I started seeing this, I started getting a clearer understanding of the system, and then the squeezes started happening, and then I started getting one insight after another, more clarity, and therefore different kinds of breathing. I was able to share different kinds of breathing techniques. Uh, what is surprising is, everybody breathes. Everybody has been breathing for hundreds, thousands, millions of years or whatever. And yet, I don't know why nobody understood this little simple part of the breath, and then how there could be a stop and go and stop and go, and that the stop and go could actually help cleanse the whole system, not just the lungs, but the whole Nadi system becomes cleansed. Now, when the whole Nadi system becomes cleansed, or relatively faster, cleansed relatively faster, naturally it starts doing magic to your system, because this is the energy system in your body. The more cleansed it is, the better your energy will flow. The better your energy will flow inside, the clearer everything will be. uh, the less stuck one will be in whatever one is stuck, and so on. So that's a whole new vista that started opening, simply with this little realization that the out breath can just go on and on and on. So at one point of time, after doing various kinds of pranayam and breath work and so on, I just started, timing how long can an out breath last. Not the full breath cycle, just the out breath. And believe me, I've had some incredible numbers. I'm not sharing those numbers now because uh, people just wonder, I mean, they can't believe it. So why give them something like that? So there have been incredible numbers. So I use a phone, and I use the stopwatch on my phone to see how long that breath continued. The out breath, just the out breath, slow out breath, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, only exhaling. It's amazing. So by when I got this insight and I started working with this, a lot of clarity started coming in, and I started seeing how this system could be used or optimized to cleanse the system. and cleansing the system is an integral part of if you like, the spiritual journey. So there we are. Therefore, that's where we are, right? I feel my last breath is coming out when, okay, I've seen that. Okay, very good. Right. So let's do once or twice more. And then if anybody has any comments, we can address those. Oh, by the way, there is a Google form in the chat box. If anybody wishes to share their particulars, their name, WhatsApp number, and so on, please fill it in, and I'll add you to the WhatsApp group that we have, and it'll be easier for you to interact and then ask for any clarifications and so on. Okay, slow deep breath in. Remember, fill up the whole system in the pelvic, lower belly, pelvic area, middle, chest, up to the shoulders and so on. Belly relaxed, tongue at the roof of your mouth. If you are observant, you will notice that when you do the Krishna's flute maneuver and you do the squeeze, and then when you breathe in again, your breath is much smoother, much easier. So try that and continue. Right. So maybe one more time for everybody. And then if anybody has any comments or any questions, we will give it a couple minutes. Somebody sent a direct message, but I don't know how to check. Okay, let me see more. I don't know how to use that. Sir, along with being smoother, I felt my lung has opened to a new branch to accommodate more air. Very good. Very good. AJ. Yes. Keep observing. You'll keep getting new insights into your system. It's your breath. You have to create, develop, maintain that intimacy with your breath. No matter what I share with you, no matter how much I tell you, ultimately it's only your breath. You need to understand your breath. You need to work with your breath. You need to catch the subtle messages that your breath gives as it flows through you. It's a very powerful thing. The breath that you are breathing just now may have been the breath that was breathed out at one point of time, maybe at least a portion of it, maybe by Krishna or maybe Rama, who knows? Maybe some demons too. But it's a, you're part of that whole, and whatever is coming in through your air, there may be even subtle messages there. It's a very esoteric kind of a field. It's not something that would interest most people, but if you bring your awareness to that, it can be very interesting. Lot of the most creative people, including the well-known names like Einstein and, if I'm not wrong, Beethoven, they dreamed up their most creative insights when they were either in sleep or in meditation and so on. So a lot happens, when we are in a relaxed state of mind. Baniramji, as I exhale slowly, my lungs feel out of breath. When your lungs feel out of breath, stop. Relax your body. There will be a fresh inflow of air that needs to be expelled. Then continue expelling that again. A little bit of out of breath should not be a problem. I do not recommend feeling too out of breath, so I will not push you to that extent. You have to understand your body. You have to understand your limits. I can only give you broad guidelines. You have to be, in tune with whatever is happening in your body. But like I've said from the very beginning, go with your body. Listen to your body. Build up your relationship, how much you wish to push it, how far, how much pressure, and so on. Build it up slowly. Don't overdo it in the first few tries. Right. Anybody else? Anything you wish to say, ask, share? Anyone? Okay.
Sir,
So looks like
I
there's.
just wanted to have a word.
Yes, Vijayaji.
I've been practicing this today's fourth day and I'm really feeling very happy. Belly breathing, I was not able to do, but with all these kriya, and I've been listening to you for the last 5-10 minutes, and then doing belly breathing, I'm able to do very easily.
Oh, that's
ease.
nice.
I just wanted to ask you one thing. I've been doing asanas followed by pranayam like Kapalbhati and Anulom Vilom, yes, etc. So these kriyas, can I club with that every day or should I do it separately? How do I do, sir?
No, you can do them together, no problem.
Okay.
You can do them separately if you like. You can also start combining a few things. See, all that I'm doing, for example, the complete yogic breath. It's a complete yogic breath that is already there, that has been known to the yogis for a long time. The only thing I've done is I've added this longer exhale, the stop and continue exhale, and then the squeeze, and then the Krishna's flute, and so on. Each has a specific intent, a purpose. It started by accident. I think I've shared that with you in one of my earlier talks. I've explained how when I first started and I did the squeeze, I didn't know how my body would react because it was the first time. I'd not heard it mentioned anywhere. I hadn't, nobody had recommended something like that. So when I did it for the first time, there was always that chance, am I doing something to damage myself? So I did it for a while and I continued observing to see if there was anything going wrong, if there was any adverse reaction in my body. Nothing happened. There was nothing adverse. In fact, good things started happening. And so I continued and I tried a little more. I added more intensity to it. And then it started giving excellent results. When I saw that the results were excellent, then I started sharing with a small group of people on Facebook. In fact, if you go to my Facebook group, Breath Secrets and Breakthroughs, there would be about maybe 30, 40 videos there, which were part of the morning guidance sessions that I would do on Facebook. And those videos are still in the Facebook group. So should we practice it before asana or after the asana practice? See, I recommend pranayam after the asanas. Some people like to do the pranayam before the asanas. I'm sure that has its advantages as well. So do both, try both sometimes. See which works better for you. Everyone is unique, everyone is special. I like to do my breath work after I've done, for example, my morning walk, with the various breath coordinated exercises that I do. And then sometimes I come back and do a little bit of stretching and light yoga. And then I do my breath work to get my system energized, ready, and so on. Okay, anything else? Okay, anything else? Okay, then we can stop for the day. We'll do our ohms. We'll do 3 ohms. Slow, deep breath, relaxed, deep breath. Remember the same thing. Fill up the breath all the way from the bottom, all the way up. Thank you all. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Vijayashree. Namaste, everybody. Please fill up the Google form if anybody wishes. It's still there. Yeah, I'll wait a minute so that if anybody wishes, they may fill it up. Yes, Triparnaji, you wish to say something? I think I'll stop the recording at least so that it doesn't get too long.